So, for the next topic for the building design one is the working drawings. So, what is a working drawings? So, working drawings, or sometimes called construction plans, are a graphical representation on paper that enable the reader to visualize and understand how the building would be constructed and how it functions. So, they contain the necessary details and information to enable one to know the exact picture of all the elements, measurements, and how the various structural parts are to be put together to form a whole structure. So, the specifications are written stipulations stating, among the others, so the construction methods to be followed, standards or workmanship, and the kinds and quality of materials to be used. So, that is for the construction specification. So, here are the following standard drawings included in the construction plans or working drawings. So, first is the exterior perspective drawing of the building. So, what is a perspective of the building? So, it is the graphical representation in three-dimensional style of the project showing how it would appear when finished. So, ito yung usual na nakikita natin, yung perspective. So, yun yung itsura ng structure kapag natapos na. Then next, site development plan or plot plan. This is where the outline and measurements of the proposed building and its placement on the property are designated. So, for the site development plan or lot plan, so dito naman na-allocate yung ating structure. So, dito natin siya matatagpuan. Kung saan natin siya matatagpuan. And meron siyang measurements and outline of the proposed building. Then next is the common symbols used in floor plan. So, as you can see, here are the common symbols. So, for the window mark, so meron siyang parang circle, then may line at the center of the circle. So, yung nasa taas, text siya. So, ibig sabihin, kung W, ibig sabihin window. Then, nasa baba naman, so 2, so ibig sabihin, yun is window number 2. So, kung meron kang window 1, 2, and 3, so it means magkaiba siya ng type ng window. Then next, so ano pa ba yung pwede natin makita dyan? So ayan, second floor overhang, kitchen base cabinet. So ito is more on architectural. So next, so ito, makikita nyo is the longitudinal section line. So it means dito daw, kinat niya daw yung section na to. So, ang makikita natin dito is tagusan. So, makikita natin yung nasa middle part ng structure. Then next, ano pa ba? So, itong transverse section line naman, so ito, hinati niya daw pa ganito yan. So, ang makikita niya, kung dito ang nag-view, so, ang makikita niya is yung nasa gitna ng structure. So, ayan. Then, next, so, next, for the second floor plan, so, ganun pa rin for the architectural plan. So, kindly familiarize na lang yung common symbols used in floor plan. So, next, so, saan na tayo? Floor plans. So, for the floor plans, are drawings showing the outline and arrangement of the rooms inside of the building as seen from a horizontal plane cutting through the walls about 1 meter above the floor line. So, the proposed use, measurements, and other important features of each room which are drawn to scale are indicated. So, dito, makikita natin yung measurements ng isang floor. So, nandoon na rin nakalagay yung doors, windows, tiles, hollow blocks, walls, and etc. So, other informations that may be found in the floor plans are the kind of materials to be used in floor finishes, walls, or partitions. So, ayan daw yung nakikita natin sa floor plan. So, floor plan, so it may be ground floor plan, second floor plan, third floor plan, and roof deck plan. So, ayan. Then, for the elevations, so elevations are used in design and construction. It is a drawing representing the projection of any part of structure on a vertical plane. So, directly facing it. Generally, those are the following. So, it may be front elevation, rear elevation, right and left side elevation. So, yan yung 4 types ng elevation view natin. So, ito, example nito is the front elevation. So, ito yung harap ng bahay or ng structure. So, what can you see in elevation view? So, overall design of the building, materials and finishes, height of the building, true profile of the building, design of exteriors, doors, and windows. So, ayan po yung nakikita natin for the floor plan. Then next is the sections. So, sections, drawing that reveals the innards of the structure. So, ibig sabihin, yung nasa loob daw ng structure, yun yung nakikita natin. So, pag hinati mo siya, it may be longitudinal section or transverse section. So, for the longitudinal section, it is the longer axis of the structure is cut. And for the transverse, the shorter axis that is cut. So, here is an example of the longitudinal section. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mas mahaba na part ng structure. So, ayan, makikita natin sa loob. So, pag hinati mo siya sa gitna. So, in a section, showing the building in its entire length or width is also called a full section. So, a full section cut along the longer axis of the structure is called longitudinal. So, ito nga yun, di ba? So, ano ba yung importance na makikita natin sa section? So, the height of the different floor levels as seen from inside the building. So, ayan. Makikita natin yung difference ng height from second floor to ground floor. Then, interior elements of the structure. So, nakikita natin yung doors, windows. So, itong doors na yan, kung ito is naharap ka sa front elevation, ito is nasa gitna. So, windows, walls, stairs, and etc. Then, ano pa ba? Excuse me. Contour of the building site if not level. So, makikita din natin dyan is yung contour ng site. So, ito, ibig sabihin, sloping downward yung ating structure or yung ating profile. So, ayan. So, this is important in calculating the volume of fills or amount of excavation to be undertaken to construct the structure on the site. Then, next, profile of the ceiling lines and floor section. So, ito, makikita natin yung ceiling line and floor sections. So, this is useful in establishing the height of exposed surfaces of walls and computing their areas to determine the amount of plastering, painting, and other finishing materials to be consumed for these areas. So, ayan yung one good example of a section. So, balik tayo. Then, next naman is punta tayo sa foundation plan. So, foundation plan is to show the structural supports of the proposed structures at the ground level or basement level. So, if a basement is incorporated in the building. So, ayan yung one good example of a foundation plan. So, ito, meron kang grid lines sa y-axis which is A, B, and C. So, usually, nilalagay natin yan sa supports. Then, ito naman, so, meron kang grid lines from point 1 up to point 11. So, ayan. So, F-3, so it means footing number 3. So, bakit tatlo? So, dahil dito, meron kang footing 1. So, nasa yung F1. So, F1, so hindi natin mahanap, no? So, ayan. So, kaya footing 3 yan. So, ibig sabihin, meron tatlong types ng foundation. So, yung footing 2 natin is ito, which is a combined footing. Diba? We have different kinds of or different types of footing. So, first is the isolated footing, then next is the combined footing, then next is the mat or the raft foundation, then next is piles. Then C1 or C3, so it means that is a column. So, usually kasi, kaya nakasulat sa kanya is tatlo, so meron ka rin tatlong types of column. So, usually, magkaiba ang column sa exterior and interior. So, ayan. Kasi mas malaki yung binubuhat ng interior. So, hindi mo siya pwede pagparehas ng dimensions or number of rebars. Pero, depende na yan sa designer. So, kung gusto ng designer mas mapadali yung buhay niya, so, pwede niyang gawing typical yung lahat ng kanyang design members and sizes. Then, next is TB-3. So, TB stands for tie beam. So, it may be grade beam or footing tie beam. So dito naman, dito sa mga designer, dito nila pinapatong yung concrete hollow block. So yun yung magiging wall footing niya. So iba pa yung wall footing alone. Then next, ayan, 100mm thick slab on fill with 10mm diameter spaced at 300 both ways. So ibig sabihin, meron daw tayong 100mm na kapal ng sahig. Ito yung sahig ng ground floor. Ang bakal niya is 10mm diameter with an offset of 300mm both ways. So ibig sabihin, X and Y axis. So ayan, that's all for the foundation plan. So ayan, one good example of a foundation plan. Then next, here are the examples of actual foundations. So ito is an isolated footing. So ayan yung reverse niya. So ito yung column. So ito yung column natin. Then ito yung ating foundation, which is an isolated footing. Then next, for the combined footing, so ibig sabihin, dalawa siyang pinagsama ng isolated footing. So usually, ginagamit ang combined footing kapag medyo maliit yung distance between columns, or pwede rin naman ginagamit natin yung combined footing if kapag nasa nasa pinakadulo ka na ng layout plan no structure. So kapag hindi ka pwede lumabas doon sa what do you call this, plan, or anong tawag doon? Plan. So parang plan. Hindi ka na pwede lumagpas sa property line. Ayan. Yun pala yung tamang term. Excuse me. Then next. So next, ito naman yung example of a footing tie beam. So ayan. So footing tie beam, so the importance of footing tie beam, so siya nga yung sumasalo ng hollow blocks kapag mga low rise, and pinaprevent niya yung structure sa settlement. So para pag lumubog man yung isang structure, so stable pa rin yung, or lumubog man yung isang part ng foundation, so magiging stable pa rin siya since ginagawa niyang stiff yung buong structure. Then next is the structural framing plan. So structural framing plan shows the size, number, and location of the structural members. It's either steel, concrete, or wood in the building framework. So ito yung structural framing plan. So the difference between ground floor plan or second floor plan to the second floor framing plan. So sa architectural plan, ang makikita natin is mga doors, windows, beams, columns, ano pa ba? Tiles, interior finish, and etc. Yung mga tables, chairs. So sa structural framing plan, so ang difference niya, wala na lahat yon. Ang matitira lang is the structural components of the structure, which is the beams, columns, and slab. So ayan, 'di ba? So yung stairwell, so hindi na natin sinasama yan. So sineseparate natin yan. So naglalagay na lang tayo ng X mark, or ibig sabihin niya butas yan. So G3, so ibig sabihin yan is girder, then S is for slab. So sa architect, ang tawag nila dyan is syempre is floor. Tayo, structural component siya, so ang tawag natin dyan is slab. Then next, so yung blue is the columns. So ayan. So yan yung example of the structural framing plan. So paitandaan lang, so ang structural framing plan is more on the frame itself. So usually makikita dyan is concrete, wood, or steel. Para lang siyang skeletal body of a structure. So here are the examples of the beams. So ito yung beams. So pag beams, mas maliit siya sa girder. So ang girder kasi ang bumubuhat sa beams. So ito naman is a wood beam. Then here is the example of a steel beam, which is a wide flange. So ano ba yung pinakamagandang gawin or pinakamagandang gamitin when it comes to building a structure? So depende yan. We have different types of constraints. So economical, safety, ease of construction, and etc. So kung gusto mo economical, syempre, so gagamit ka ng wood. So pwedeng wood. So, kaya lang, yung availability ng materials, di ba? So, konti na lang din yung gumagamit ng wood. Then, for the ease of construction, so, pwede naman steel, kasi yan steel, sobrang bilis mo lang siya itatayo dahil i-connect mo lang lahat ng bolts and magwo-weld ka lang. Ang problema lang sa steel, syempre, mas malaki yung cost kesa sa concrete. Sa concrete kasi mag-aantay ka pa ng 28 days, which is our curing days. So, however, safe and economical when it comes to building a structure. Syempre, bubulol pa ako dun. Then next is the structural roof framing plan. So a roof plan is used to show the shape of the roof. So roof plan, so yun is for the architect. So yun yung nakikita natin yung shape of the roof. For the structural roof framing plan, so ito yung makikita natin yung trusses, sagrods, cross bracings, purlins. So ayan, yun yung nakikita natin. So the roof framing plan is similar to the roof plan, but in addition to showing the shape of the structure and the outline of the roof, it also shows the size and direction of the framing members used to the frame roof. So here example of a roof framing plan. So ayan. So yung yellow natin is yung purlins. Then the gray one, so itong gray, so ito is the cross bracings. Then ito naman, itong red is the sagrods. Then itong T1 or itong mahabang member na to is the truss. Then ito is the roof girder. So pwedeng concrete, pwede rin steel. Then so ayan, yun yung mga typical parts of a roof framing plan. So ayan. Then dito naman, so schedule of truss members. So ayan. So most commonly we are using angle bars. So yung mga nakikita nyo sa basketball court or stadium, so ito is mga angle bars. So pwedeng double leg, pwede rin namang single leg. So ayan. So connection details, ayan, wina-weld, then meron gusset plate. So ito naman, so ayan. Then ito is for the bolts. So attached to the concrete. So ayan, that's for the framing plan of a roof. So here are the examples. So ito, so as you can see, here is the example of the cross bracing, yung X. So ito is in real life application. Then ito naman is truss. So ayan is parang wide flange ata yan. So medyo malaking structure yan. Then next, so ito naman is yung dito tayo sa kabila. Next is for the purlins. So ito yung purlins natin, mga horizontal members. So itong mga member na yan. So yan yung purlins natin. Then next, so ayan, purlins din yan. Then truss. Then ito naman yung sagrods natin. So ayan. So ayan yung mga common materials used in roof framing plan. So that's all for the working drawings.